Have you ever allowed yourself to act on your intrusive thoughts? Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Beaver, and today I allowed one of my intrusive thoughts to become an idea and then turn into a video. I was sitting the other day and watching my still drip away, and I thought to myself, what will happen if I take a still, my small still. Now, if you don't know what my small still is, this little small 12-liter copper still, you see me using it quite often when I do my smaller test batches, and it just has this small little copper column. Now the column is not packed with anything, it's completely empty, and I take this little small still and I put a condenser right there. Now, not just put a condenser right there, but I actually take the still, fill it only halfway up with liquid so that there is ample space inside of the boiler as well as at the top of the head before it gets to your line arm here. And I put this still into full reflux, and I leave it in full reflux for the exact same amount of time it will take me to actually do a standard distillation with exactly the same wash. Now, there's a couple ideas already popping around in my head what was gonna happen, but I never know, and I'm always surprised with what happens during the distillation process. So if you're interested, stick around. Now, step number one in any of these kind of processes or experiments is to start with a known product. So I just made a stock standard sugar wash. Now, if you're interested in how to make a sugar wash the way I make it, I made a video the other day. I'll link it up there. So you can go and watch my foolproof sugar wash recipe. So I just took that stock standard sugar wash recipe and I let it ferment. After it was done fermenting, I left it for a couple days more, and then I decanted it into 2 5-liter batches. That wash I made was 20 liters, so I took about half of that wash and I decanted into 2 exactly 5-liter bottles. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the first run and distillation with the sugar wash with the still set up in the way exactly the way I would set up the still for a standard run. Only difference, I'm going to put the condenser in place and I'm going to run it with no water running through the product condenser, or not the product condenser, the deflag, with no water running through the deflag. So there will be some reflux, but only passive reflux, and only up until the whole column is heated up, so to keep it as standard as possible. And then once that run is done, we'll start with the actual experiment. With the temperature now steadily increasing, that's hot, with the temperature now steadily increasing up to about 80 C, we should be starting to get first drips. Now if we look down there, sorry, there's something wrong with the camera, but if you look right there, you can actually see first drips starting right now. So what we need to do right now is stand still. Why are you moving? So what we need to do right now is actually start a timer. Just for all of those that are asking, it is now actually 6 minutes to 7 o'clock in the evening. So I'll check back with you guys once this run is done. Okay, so we're now heading to the end of the run. Coming off the spout now is definitely tails. So we're going to call it there. The run has now been going for exactly, we can see there, 54 minutes. The time now is 19:48. So that means it's almost exactly 1 full hour for this 5-liter run to finish up. The general hearts that I took off the still here is sitting around 50% ABV. So I'm happy. It's a general sugar wash run. Now it's time for us to let this cool down, drain it, and then start with run number 2. Okay, so now that we are getting up to temperature right at the top here, and we are starting to get first drips coming out of the bottom for the second run, we're now going to do a couple of extra things. Now if you check here, what you will see is we've got a few extra hoses coming off the back of the still now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm first going to open up the tap that runs the water into the pre-condenser. Okay, I'm going to open up the tap all the way. That's it, all the way. Okay, the tap is open. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to close off the water. So as you see, this is the pipe for the water going into the product condenser. I'm going to take that, going to pinch it off. Difficult to do with two hands, one hand, there we go, and going to put a, now you see the whole house, there we go, going to put a gorilla clip on the end. So there's no water running through the product condenser, as well as all the water running through our reflux condenser. What we've also done is I've adjusted the flame down to the exact level that I had the flame for the run. So now, if all goes well, I'm going to set a timer for exactly 1 full hour, and we're going to leave this still in full reflux. So this still, we're going to leave it in full reflux for exactly 1 full hour. Then what we're going to do is we're going to allow water into the product condenser. Oh, hold on, I'll show you guys when we get there. See you guys in 1 hour. Okay, it's now exactly 9:23, so this still has now been in full reflux for exactly 1 hour. If you bring your ear nice and close, you can still hear the liquid dripping down. Okay, so in theory, and this is my theory at least, and that's why I wanted to try the experiment, is that because we've now been boiling the liquid at the bottom for a full hour, the up and down reflux motion has now condensed all of that vapor, the high proof alcohol vapor in the top of this little boiler here. So it has given enough time, because we were able to actually extract all the liquids for that distillation period. So we should have all the vapors up here theoretically. Now let's see if that is the result. So what I'm thinking is going to happen is that we might just get a high boost in ABV the moment we turn down the liquid going into the pre-condenser and we start taking off liquid, because I'm not going to adjust the power. I'm just going to stop the water into the pre-condenser. That's going to allow that vapor to slowly heat up that pre-condenser and then move over into the line arm, and all the water is just going to be diverted straight into our product condenser over here. And yeah, we'll see. So let me quickly just walk around the table and yeah, turn off the water. So let's do that. So step one, before we make a big boo-boo here. Step one, remove the water, the clip that had the water going into the product condenser. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to close this tap off, and this is going to stop all the water going into the pre-condenser or the deflagmator or whatever you want to call it. So now all that lovely liquid should start, or all that lovely vapor should start slowly heating up the deflagmator and then moving up the column, and we should see the temperature starting to rise in a good couple of minutes. So yeah, I'll check back with you guys the moment something changes and the temperature at the top starts creeping up, and then we'll see how the run goes. See you guys in a couple of minutes. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes allowing this condenser here to start heating up. It's now nice and toasty. This also nice and toasty, and as we can see right at the top there, we are starting to hit 80°C, and first drips are starting to come out. Now the first drips now starting to drip. I do believe that is going to be super high proof. Yep, that stuff is like nail polish remover, acetone, full on smell. So we're just going to take a small tiny cut of that, roughly the same size cut that we did with the normal run, and then we're going to switch over to our harsh jar. So yeah, see you guys when this distillation is all done. Now with both runs done, the results are in. So a couple of interesting things. First off, let's quickly check both of the runs. This is the volume we got for run number 1. This is the volume we got for run number 2, before the tails started kicking in. Now both of these, the tails came in quite fast, but on this side the tails came in really quick. So yeah, so for the full reflux run we got a tiny bit less of product. The no reflux run, we had a average ABV of about 50%. So when everything is mixed back together, I'm expecting an average ABV of about 50%. So we're sitting at about roughly, if I check this out, at about 49% ABV. So roughly about 50%. We estimate and guesstimate the difference in temperature. Now for the second run, just rinse this out real quick. Now for the second run, it had a slightly higher ABV at the start of the run, but the ABV balanced out relatively quickly, and this ended up on a ABV of about 56%. So we did not get that much more ABV, nor did we get more product. We only got a little bit less product and a tiny bump in ABV. So with all of that said, during the run I did smell and taste the product to see if tails comes in and all the other fun stuff, because I didn't want to just start collecting to the exact same volume as run 1, because I did expect tails maybe coming in earlier. So let me quickly taste these side by side and see if what I tasted during the run actually translated into the product that we have in the front of us. Sitting at about 49% ABV, and yeah, very sugar ball heavy. Remember, these sugars weren't inverted. Smells clean, smells sweet. But it does have a slight sugar aftertaste. If you've ever done just a plain sugar wash, you know what I'm talking about. It does have that sugary aftertaste. However, run number 2 that we left in reflux for a full hour, the ABV started very high, like I said, and it dropped down substantially low. Well, not substantially, but it balanced out to the same ABV we had on the other run relatively quickly. But the initial 4 shots were super concentrated. It was like acetone heavy, like straight up acetone. But the rest of the run had a funky banana smell to it. Okay? And I can smell it again. It has a fruity banana kind of flavor to it. Now the yeast we used for this whole experiment was AM1 yeast. And that's a distiller's yeast. And at the right temperatures and at the right fermentation, you should get some fruity flavors off of it. And this, clean my palate quickly. And this, yes, does have heavy fruity flavors. It does smell cleaner. It smells less of that sugar bowl. And on the taste, initial is clean, just clean alcohol, like almost like we did a spirit run on the plated still at the back here, where the spirit has cleaned up immensely, but it has those subtle, nuanced, fruity flavors sitting at the back. So I don't know if leaving it in reflux allowed it to get all those compounds out and all compressed and condensed in the top of that boiler, and then once we started allowing that vapor to pass through, all of those flavors that you generally get when you open up a bucket of your, or a fermenter of your sugar wash fermentations, you get those fruity flavors and smells coming off, but you never tend to get it into your final product. But yeah, there's a lot more of it. It's a lot more pronounced than we have. Yeah, it's a completely different product with a completely different profile, but it was the exact same wash. So the question is, would I do it again? Well, I think it would be interesting to see what will happen if I take my big still, I do a larger wash, let's say about 30 liters, and I fill this still up to charge it with 30 liters. I've got a 50 liter boiler at the bottom, and then I leave it in reflux for, let's say, 2-3 hours, allowing it to really condense all those flavors in the columns, load up all 6 the plates, and then slowly start taking off product, keeping the energy going in the same, but dialing back on the reflux condenser just ever so slowly, so those flavors keep that balance within the column. And yeah, this is a fruity flavor bomb on the fully condensed version. This is more a simple sugar wash that I will redistill and make a gin out of. This actually has some really good flavors to it. So yeah, super interesting experiment. I don't know if you guys found it as interesting as I did. And if you stuck around this far, thank you very much for watching, and have a lekker day.